Today we're diving deep into a legendary motorcycle, the 2026 Honda CB1300 Super Four. This is a bike that doesn't just carry a nameplate or a broken bar, it carries decades of Honda history, passion, and engineering excellence. A Biga-bore naked motorcycle that's unmistakably classic but infused with touches of modern refinement. Let's break down what makes this machine special, from engine to aesthetics, performance to daily usability, and finally, whether it's worth your money in 2026. First, let's set the stage with what this bike is. The CB1300 Super Four has been one of Honda's flagship standard bikes, a muscly Kia-styled roadster powered by a massive 1.284cc liquid-cooled inline-four engine. It delivers around 110 to 113 horsepower and roughly 112 Nm of torque, numbers that give it plenty of grunt both around town and on the open road. This engine characterizes smooth, linear torque with strong mid-range punch is part of what makes this bike so compelling. That classic four-cylinder smoothness still feels alive and relevant, even by today's standards. Under the skin, Honda has kept the traditional doubly cradle steel frame Atrida and the true backbone that balances rigidity, comfort, and confidence in handling, especially important for a bike of this size. Suspension duties are handled up front by conventional telescopic forks and at the rear with twin shocks, a setup that favors a balance between everyday comfort and spirited road performance. The brakes are dual discs up front and a single disc at the rear, all backed by ABS, giving strong stopping power suited to this big machine. Immediately is how linear the performance feels. There's no sudden surge, just a broad wave of power that you can rely on from low revs right up into the meter range. That's a big part of its appeal as a naked bike for real-world use, whether you're commuting, carving through twisties, or cruising highways. The engine's character isn't just about peak numbers, it's about usable to work where you actually ride. Despite being heavy compared to sport bikes, the Super Four tends to sit in the high 200 kg range, but rider confidence remains high. Weight isn't a liability when it's balanced well, and the CB1300's chassis and suspension do just that. The cockpit blends classic and modern, dual analog ground instruments for speed and revs, flanked by a small LCD that keeps essential info like gear position, fuel level, and trip data easily readable. It's nostalgia you can use, not a relic you must decipher. Honda hasn't ignored modern needs either. LED lighting, a USB charging socket, heated grips, and practical design bits like angled valve stems for easier tire pressure checks are all part of the package, subtle touches that make life easier without diluting the bike's classic personality. On the styling front, the CB1300 doesn't hide what it is, a retro-inspired roadster with a muscular fuel tank, minimal bodywork, and strong presence. The final edition versions bring special graphics, final edition badges, and touches like a silver swingarm and gold chain that pay homage to the bike's roots, a nice nod to enthusiasts and collectors alike. Now let's talk money. In Japan, which remains the primary market for this iconic model, the CB1300 Super Four Final Edition carries an MSRP in the ballpark of Yen 1,727,000 for the base model, and the more premium SP version stretches into higher figures, around Yen 2,100,000. In local currency, that's roughly in the 10 lakh to 12.8 lakh yen range depending on variant, which in many markets is competitive for a premium, Biga capacity naked motorcycle. Of course, in many parts of the world, including Europe, India, or wherever the bike might be imported, pricing changes once you factor in duties, taxes, and compliance costs. You'll often see these bikes command premium pricing because they're not mass market offerings, they are niche machines for enthusiasts who value character over volume. That classic engine, that timeless style, and that blend of comfort plus performance, that's where this motorcycle shines. Riders frequently praise its strong build quality and engaging character. Sure, it isn't the lightest or most technologically loaded bike on the market, but that's sort of the point. It's a motorcycle with soul. A few owners do point out that the weight and size demand respect, especially at lower speeds or when parking, a part of that Biga bike experience. Now, performance. For city rides, the CB1300 is surprisingly manageable, thanks to that smooth torque and approachable ergonomics. On the highway, it feels composed and confident. You're not chasing sport bike lap times, but you are experiencing a big engine that loves to stretch its legs, with a chassis and brakes that keep you in control. That's real versatility in a world where many bikes are too specialized. So what makes the 2026 Honda CB1300 Super Four truly special? It's this blend, timeless design, classic DNA, and a powertrain that's worthy of Biga bike enthusiasts. It speaks to riders who want character over flash, substance over cool gimmicks, and a motorcycle that feels alive in a way that only a big inline-four naked can. Whether you're adding it to a collection or making it your weekend warrior, it's a machine that connects, and it's a fitting farewell chapter for a legend that's defined Honda's lineup for decades.